Hey guys, today's video we're going to talk about a weight loss plateau, what it means if you're actually in one, how to fix it, and how to make sure you're assessing your progress correctly to make sure you're getting the results that you want. Coming up. Now, if you're new here, my name is Shannon from Shannon Billows Fitness, and I'm here to make weight loss simple and sustainable. If you like these kind of videos, make sure you give this a quick subscribe because we're going to be releasing one of these every single week, helping you get better, faster results. So what we first want to do is actually define what a weight loss plateau is. So most of the common questions that I get around this is, Shannon, how come I've stalled in my weight? My calories are 100% accurate. I've been tracking my calories for weeks and weeks and I just can't seem to be losing any more weight. So essentially it's when you are no longer losing the weight that you should be expecting. Usually it's going to go for at least 2 or 3 weeks without any progress in your weight and or your waist measurements. So we don't just rely on the scale weight alone. We also want to rely on our waist measurements to make sure we're actually decreasing all the visceral fat, which at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter if you're a lighter person. The main goal for anyone trying to lose weight or fat is always going to be a smaller, leaner person. Now, if you're at a point in your program where you're no longer getting any results, so you're not losing any scale weight or you're not dropping any waist measurements, there's a few places that we want to look. Now, there are quite a few things that will affect your scale weight. How much food that you've had in the last 1 to 2 days, how little food you've had in the last 1 to 2 days, whether or not you've gone to the toilet, if you've been eating a lot of sodium and you usually wouldn't otherwise. These will all play a big role in terms of how much you weigh on the scale from day to day. Now, what you want to be doing is taking your daily weigh-ins and averaging them out over 7 days. So that means you weigh yourself every single morning and then you take those 7 days, add them all together and then divide it by 7. And then at the end of that, you're going to get your weekly average number. Now there are apps that will do this for you, such as Happy Scale for iPhone and Libra for Android. And then what I'll do is I'll leave those links in the description below for you. Now what people usually try and aim for is 1 kilo per week worth of scale weight loss, or 2 pounds per week if you're in the United States. But instead of trying to aim for some arbitrary number that probably may not even relate to you in your current situation, I would much rather you aim for anywhere between 0.5 to 1% of your total body weight per week. So for example, if you're 100 kilos, if you aim for 1% of your body weight per week, that means you're going to be losing 1 kilo per week. If you're a small female and 50 kilos and you're aiming closer to the 1% per week, that may mean that you may lose 0.5 kilos per week, and that's at the highest end. So this is always going to be relative to your current weight and where you are currently in your transformation. Now, second to weighing yourself daily and taking your weekly average is you also want to be taking your waist measurements at least 1 time per week. If your waist measurements are going down and your scale weight is staying the same, perfect. That's actually better progress than the scale weight coming down. So we would actually rather you be a smaller, leaner person whilst being as heavy as possible, because that's an indication that you're actually gaining muscle and you're losing body fat, and most of it is coming just from body fat. So now you have an idea of what potentially could be throwing you off in terms of your plateau. If you are actually in a plateau, so if you haven't progressed for 2 weeks, nothing has changed whatsoever, what do you do now? How do you actually go about fixing the issue? Now there are a few scenarios where it could actually be that you are at a plateau. And it's, again, going to always come back down to your energy balance, which basically means you're eating the same amount of calories it is to maintain your current weight. So number one, you could have already started very overweight in the beginning, and the calories that you were eating to lose weight whilst you were obese or morbidly obese have come down so much to the point where your deficit calories are now your maintenance calories. In this case, it may just be a matter of reducing your calories further. Now, when you start to lose weight and you become a smaller person, your energy expenditure throughout the day, or your total daily energy expenditure, becomes less. So someone who is 100 kilos versus someone who is 50 kilos, as you start to lose weight, your metabolism is going to decrease, not to the degree that many people think that it happens. Being a smaller person, you just don't need as many calories, which is perfectly fine. This is called metabolic adaptation. Now, this is perfectly safe and measurable depending on how much you weigh and how much activity that you're doing. Now, if you're unsure of what calories you should be aiming for, I do have a link at the top of my page where you can download my free calorie calculator, and it will work out your exact calories for you and the optimum results. Now, the second scenario generally is when people get really good results after a while, they start to get a little bit slack on their diet. A few foods here and there start to sneak back in, a little bit of toast off the kids' plates, or you might have a quick biscuit as a snack, and then it doesn't seem like much in isolation, but all these tiny little bit of calories here and calories there can add up sometimes to 5, 6, 7, 800 calories per week. And that can almost, depending on how tall you are and what your deficit range is, can sometimes wipe out your whole deficit for the week. So think of all those little calorie leaks, try and plug those up and start tracking everything 100% accurate, and start sticking to the calories that you're meant to be eating and tracking everything that you eat. Another situation could be if you weren't calorie counting before and you were just eyeballing foods and guesstimating roughly what a healthy meal should look like. You may have gotten to the point where you've lost enough weight, the calories are now matching your energy expenditure, and you may need to reevaluate and actually start counting calories. But no matter what it is always and forever going to come down to is the fact that if you haven't progressed for at least 2 to 3 weeks on your waist and or your weight measurements, it's going to mean that your calories in versus calorie out is maintaining your current weight, which means we either need to A, increase your activity, B, decrease your food intake, or bit of both, which is my personal favorite. Now, if you found this video helpful, I would really appreciate it if you could give this video a like. It helps me reach more people and helps more people just like you. If you have any topics you would like me to cover in a future video, pop them in the comments below. Now, there's going to be 2 more videos up on the screen, and they're both going to help you get easier, better, faster fat loss results. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye.